Hey.
Alright, y'all, so for some reason, the national media of the NBA just does not like talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers for some reason, so I am here to throw my 2 cents in. Because I just have a feeling that a lot of you are probably unaware that the Cleveland Cavaliers are currently the hottest team in the NBA right now. They are on a league best 7-game winning streak. If you look back across the last 15 games, they have the best record in the NBA at 12-3. We can dig even deeper, look at some advanced stats. Across those 15 games, the Cavs are 6th in the NBA in offensive rating, 2nd in defensive rating, and 1st in net rating. But perhaps the most impressive part about all of this is they've been doing all of this winning and all of this great basketball without some of their best players, as Darius Garland has missed the last 15 games, Evan Mobley's missed the last 19 games, so the workload has fallen on Donovan Mitchell, Jarrett Allen, and it seems like every role player on this team has been stepping up and playing some great basketball. And to dig even deeper, let's talk about Donovan Mitchell real quick, because he is a player that I feel doesn't get nearly enough respect for how great of a player he is. If you look at his stats across this last 15 game stretch I've been mentioning so much, he's averaging over 28 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and almost 2 steals per game, putting up some MVP type numbers. And I just have so much trust in Donovan Mitchell in being a good basketball player. Definitely one of the best 2 guards in the NBA today, although, without Darius Garland, he's been playing more of a point guard role for this Cleveland team. But simply put, he is one of the most explosive scorers that the NBA has in the league today. He's a little bit undersized at that guard position, and I know that has been a huge talking point for pretty much his entire career, but he has such a special blend of athleticism and strength that it's really not even noticeable when you watch him play basketball. He's a guard that can score from all 3 levels, although if we're being honest with ourselves, I think his strongest attribute is definitely his driving and finishing around the rim. Again, that explosiveness just pops right off your screen. He loves going to spin moves, Euro steps, he can finish with a floater, he can get acrobatic and try to get some reverse layups. He'll also just dunk over you every now and then, and those are easily some, highlight type plays. I just made a video recently highlighting Kyrie Irving, and I called him, probably the greatest finisher around the rim in the league today, but to be honest, Donovan Mitchell could probably give him a decent run for his money, just because he has that added athleticism, or he just has that increased vertical, and he can hang in the air a little longer. And again, I'm not saying that he is as good as Kyrie Irving, but he's definitely in the conversation. In addition to that, he's also capable of lighting you up from behind the 3-point line. I went back and rewatched the Paris game when the Cavs and Nets played about a week or so ago. It might have been 2 weeks ago at this point. I don't really remember. But he was struggling as an outside scorer. He had a couple of middies, maybe a floater, but most of his scoring was at the rim, and it wasn't until the 4th quarter where he just unlaunched a barrage of threes on the Brooklyn Nets defense. And I think that's a perfect example of just the type of microwave, shooting ability that Donovan Mitchell has, because when he has it going from beyond the arc, he is just a really tough player to stop, because again, that just opens up his driving game so much more too, and you're just kind of left with nothing to do defensively. And as I mentioned, with Darius Garland being out for this extended period of time, it has been Donovan Mitchell running the point guard spot, and he's done a great job of facilitating. He's never been the craziest playmaker, but defenses respect his scoring ability so much that passing lanes eventually open up, and it leads to easy and open shots for his teammates. And even defensively, I feel like we are seeing a new rejuvenated Donovan Mitchell on that end of the court. He's never been a bad defender by any means, but again, he's always been a little undersized. He has the strength and the physicality to make him at least an average defender. But this season, he has been doing a tremendous job of getting into passing lanes and just being more of a pesky on-ball defender. He's a hair under 2 steals a game, which is great for his position. And speaking of the defense working, I feel like I should talk about the anchor of that defense for a little bit, because Jarrett Allen has also been playing some of the best basketball of his career across this 15 game stretch, or even going beyond that for the past couple of months. He's just been playing tremendous basketball, especially with the loss of Evan Mobley in that front court. Not only does he continue to excel at defending the rim and having just some really nice solid rim protection and being a great backline defender, but he also can hold his own in isolation. There were a few plays from this game where Cam Thomas tried to ISO him, and even if Cam Thomas did get a bucket, it was an extremely tough bucket that only Cam Thomas and a few others could get. But even statistically, across these last 15 games, Jarrett Allen is up to 18 points and 13 rebounds, which would both be career highs for him, and I think that's just goes to show you that he has leveled up. And as this is coming from someone I've never really been a huge Jarrett Allen fan. It's nice to see him finally perform, especially at a time where the Cavs have really needed someone to step up, and he has taken that next step forward. And so again, to bring this full circle, the Cleveland Cavaliers currently sitting in 4th place in the Eastern Conference on that 7-game win streak. Now, some interesting points to make. Darius Garland should be coming back at some point soon. Evan Mobley still has a bit more time until that knee injury is healed. And according to Basketball Reference, they have currently had the 24th ranked strength of schedule so far, so that tells me that they're going to have a tough stretch of games to finish the second half of the season. At the same time, again, they'll also be getting Darius Garland back, they'll be getting Evan Mobley back at some point, and with the level of basketball they've been playing, I am really excited to see how they handle the second half of the season, because I, for one, really believe in this Cavs team. They've been a really good regular season team for the past 2 years, but when they saw the Knicks in the playoffs last season, they got exposed for not having that great of an offense. The defense was great, but they just had no scoring outside of Donovan Mitchell. I know Darius Garland had some struggles, Jarrett Allen had some struggles, Evan Mobley had some struggles. But so far, their offseason acquisitions have helped solve those struggles. The addition of Max Strus, the addition of Georges Niang, the elevated play of Sam Merrill, especially in these recent games. All three of those guys have brought some much needed shooting to this roster, especially Max Strus. I don't know, maybe I'm just blanking on his Miami Heat career, but he's also shown off some really great ball handling skills in the pick and roll. I know him and Evan Mobley were chopping it up at the start of the season and had some really great chemistry between those two. But the point I'm trying to get at is last season's playoffs, this Cavs team just had no shooting. They had no offense surrounding Donovan Mitchell, and the people that were supposed to be the offense around Donovan Mitchell struggled. I think it was all because of the fact that they just didn't have shooting, they couldn't space the floor, made it really easy for the Knicks to defend them. Now this season, of course, we don't know who they're going to be matched up with. They're in that range from that, like 4 to 7 seed, 4 to 7, 8 seed range where anything can really happen in terms of standings wise and matchups for that first round. But if I were a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, I would be much more confident heading into the playoffs this season. Again, the added shooting should give Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland plenty of space to operate. Hopefully Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, the lights hopefully aren't too bright for them this year. But at the end of the day, I just fully 100% believe in Donovan Mitchell as a playoff performer. He's yet to have a real stinker in the playoffs, and he's just such a good scorer in those high-intensity games that you should feel comfortable having him be your number one option. It's just, will the rest of the team and the rest of the shooting stay hot and be able to get this Cavs team a playoff series win finally? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. That's all I got for this one. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.